Have you ever heard of a story so wild it seems like it is straight out of a Hollywood movie? A story about a man who went from a humble background to becoming one of the wealthiest and most feared individuals on the planet. Today, we're diving deep into the history of the Medellín Group and its infamous leader, Pablo Escobar, and how their rise and fall forever changed a nation. Our story begins in the 1970s, in the bustling city of Medellín, Colombia. It was a time of rapid economic change, and many ambitious young people were looking for their big break. Among them was Pablo Escobar, a man with a dream of immense wealth and influence. He wasn't alone. Alongside his close friends and business partners, he started to build an organization that would soon defy all expectations. Their initial business was simple: smuggling. They started by moving a popular but illegal product that was in high demand overseas. The money started pouring in, faster than anyone could have imagined. What began as a small operation quickly ballooned, their network stretching across countries and even continents. By the early 1980s, the Medellín Group was a global enterprise, generating staggering amounts of cash. Escobar's wealth became legendary, placing him among the richest people in the world. But here's where the story gets complicated. Escobar wasn't just hoarding his fortune. He became known as a sort of modern-day Robin Hood in his community. He poured money into Medellín, building homes for the poor, constructing sports fields for kids, and funding local schools. To many, he was a hero, a man of the people who shared his wealth and gave back to his city. This dual identity, a ruthless businessman on one hand, and a beloved benefactor on the other, is what makes his story so compelling and controversial. However, as the empire grew, so did the problems. The organization craved total control over its trade, and this ambition put them on a collision course with the authorities and rival groups competing for the same market. These weren't peaceful business disputes settled in a boardroom. They exploded into violent conflicts that engulfed entire communities, sowing fear and chaos. By the mid-1980s, Medellín and other parts of Colombia were caught in a storm of violence. The situation was incredibly challenging, and the group's influence seemed to touch every corner of society. It was during this turbulent period that Escobar made his most audacious move yet. He decided to enter politics. He ran for office, and for a brief time, it looked like he might actually succeed in becoming a legitimate part of the national government. Imagine that, a man running a massive illegal enterprise trying to become a lawmaker. But his past couldn't stay hidden forever. His background was exposed in a dramatic public showdown, and his political ambitions came crashing down. This moment was a turning point. Stripped of his political immunity and publicly shamed, his relationship with the Colombian state transformed from tense to openly hostile. The scale of the Medellín Group's operations was no longer a secret. It had captured the attention of international agencies. The United States, in particular, began to take a keen interest, and soon, countries started collaborating to dismantle the organization's vast network. The pressure mounted, and the Colombian government faced a difficult choice. The possibility of extraditing Escobar to the U.S. to face justice became a central point of conflict. Escobar's response was simple and brutal. Better a grave in Colombia than a jail cell in the U.S., his declaration of war against extradition plunged the country into even deeper turmoil. Then, in 1991, something astonishing happened. After years of intense pressure, Escobar made a deal. He agreed to surrender to the authorities, but on his own terms. He would be imprisoned, but not in a standard jail. He would be housed in a facility he designed and built himself, a luxurious, custom-made prison known as La Catedral. From the outside, it was a prison. From the inside, it was more like a fortress mansion, complete with a soccer field, a bar, and sweeping views of the city. From La Catedral, Escobar continued to live a life of comfort, receiving visitors and, as authorities later discovered, continuing to run his empire from behind its walls. When the government realized he was making a mockery of the justice system, they decided to move him to a real prison. But Escobar was always one step ahead. Before they could transfer him, he vanished. He simply walked out of his own prison and disappeared into the night. His escape triggered one of the largest manhunts in history. The Colombian authorities, with significant support from international partners, launched a massive search operation called the Search Block. For over a year, Escobar was the most wanted man in the world. He moved constantly between safe houses in Medellin, communicating with his family through coded messages and encrypted calls, always trying to evade capture. At the same time, a new, shadowy group emerged. Los Pepis. This vigilante group, composed of former associates and rivals, was determined to end Escobar's reign by any means necessary. They waged their own brutal war, targeting his properties, finances, and associates. Medellin became a battleground, caught between the government forces, Escobar's loyalists, and Los Pepis. The net was closing in. On December 2nd, 1993, the day after his 44th birthday, security forces tracked a phone call he made to his family. They pinpointed his location to a middle-class neighborhood in Medellin. In the ensuing shootout on a rooftop, Pablo Escobar's incredible story came to a sudden and violent end. His deaths marked the collapse of his organization and the closing of a dark, dramatic chapter in Colombia's history. So, what happened next? The fall of the Medellin group left a massive power vacuum, but it also gave Colombia a chance to breathe and begin the long, difficult process of rebuilding. The country embarked on a path of reform, strengthening its justice system, cleaning up its institutions, and investing in creating safer communities for its people. While other criminal organizations tried to fill the void, none ever achieved the same scale or global influence. And what about Medellin? The city's transformation is perhaps the most powerful part of this story. Once known globally as the epicenter of fear and violence, Medellin is now a symbol of resilience and innovation. It's admired for its incredible urban renewal projects, like the famous cable cars that connect the hillside communities to the city center. It has become a hub for technology, art, and culture. The people of Medellin have reclaimed their city, not by erasing the past, but by building a new future filled with pride, creativity, and hope. The story of the Medellin group isn't just a tale about money, power, and crime. It is a profound story about how a community and a country can endure immense hardship and emerge stronger on the other side. While Pablo Escobar remains a legendary figure in history, the true, lasting legacy of Colombia is one of incredible resilience, remarkable progress, and unwavering hope for a brighter future. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you never miss another deep dive into history. We'll see you in the next video.